Hello and welcome, rookie card collecting friends. Victor, the rookie card specialist, coming at you with a very special episode, an exclusive interview that I was able to have with Dr. James Beckett pertaining to the area of the XRC Identifier. I was able to get on a Zoom with Dr. Beckett at first of the year. It's actually seems like at least once a year for the last 3 years. Dr. Beckett and I will get together and just do some rookie card ramblings, as we like to call it. But this is a very special episode because it's dealing in particular with the XRC. I am going to split this episode up. Some of the stuff might sound familiar to you, as Dr. Beckett did 3 episodes on his podcast a month or so ago. And he does 15-minute episodes, which I tend to like that concept. But in actuality, him and I spoke for close to an hour and a half. And so I'm going to share with you kind of my edited version. My version is going to be edited because there were some things said that were basically for me. Advice that was given specifically for me. And there are things that I do not want to share. But I am going to give you the majority of this interview. But this will be a podcast style type interview. You will not see any video behind it. It was basically a Zoom call that we did, and we knew that we were recording, but at the same time, we both understood that this was for podcast format and not video. So I'm going to share with you the audio portion of it. But so this is more of a, just sit back and listen and maybe have this on in the background as you're doing something else. But I am going to split it up into 2 interviews. After my edit, we're looking at 1 hour and 16 minutes. But I do want to split it up into 2 episodes. This is going to be part 1 of the episode. And let us not delay any longer. And stay tuned, because at the end of this, I'm going to come back and close things up. You ready? Here we go.
Hobby News Daily is your homepage of the hobby, providing original writing, exclusive gem rate data, a daily morning minute podcast, and some of the best content creators in the hobby. Remember, hobbynewsdaily.com and at Hobby News Daily on social. Happy collecting!
We're just going to talk about rookie cards, and I'm anticipating what you're writing, but I've got some other things, and I'm not sure if it's included or whether you're completely done. I don't want to be messing things up, but I've got some other things I've thought about because you've really provoked a lot of my thinking. Everybody thought the 81 traded Valenzuela was a really cool card, but people were, and they were kind of wanting it to be a rookie card. And if you remember, I don't know if you were big into it in those days, but the only people that had 81 traded extended sets had 100, because they were sold, what was it? 100 for $450.
Yeah.
They had instant gold. And so there were a lot of dealers that had a strong position in a case or 2. I think it might even been a minimum of 2 cases. So all of a sudden you got 200 sets. And when you break them, if those, the Reigns and the Valenzuela and forget which other one, but there were just maybe Jeff Reardon, who was decent at that time. Those guys, every dealer that got the cases lobbied me, But I'm trying to be the voice of the collector too. And the collector's saying, hey, wait a minute, I'm being held hostage here. This is a box set. It wasn't available in a pack. And these dealers have a horde of them. And they want them to be rookie cards. And I certainly didn't cop out, but I made people mad that had that, because I said it's not the first card from Topps. And it's well established that multiplayer rookie cards are the rookie card. Now, 64 rows, really cool card, and it has high demand in its own right, and the rookie trophy and all that, but it's not a rookie card. in
Right.
the classic sense. So, at any rate, I just I don't even know that I editorialized because the magazine didn't even exist in '81. It was certainly the consensus of collectors. It was certainly the consensus when those sets came out that, hey, this is not fair. Now, Danny Ainge, another story, and yet Ainge also had regular season rookies in I think Fleer and Donruss both, but it was his first Topps card. So things started getting murky in '81. The fact that the extended sets were numbered in sequence. And so I dealt with all that stuff at the time. Again, didn't have a magazine, but I was at a lot of shows, talking to a lot of dealers. And I think the consensus, certainly of collectors, was that the Valenzuela issued 6 months later after he'd already had quite a bit of acclaim. Actually, he had pretty good acclaim at the end of '80 as well. But it was not his first Topps card at all.
Right. Right.
And so it wasn't a cop-out at all, and it wasn't even something that was that controversial. Now you skip to the next year, you got Ripken. Again,
Right.
Ripken 82 traded is kind of a better-looking card. It's a better card, but people were wanting it to be a rookie if they had it, Victor. I mean, that's what I had to deal with. You know, the average person that had no skin in the game said, "Hey, you had your chance. You know, in the beginning of the season, you could have gotten the Ripkins. Now it's the end of season. It's in a box. Everybody gets a box, gets one. But that was a great, great set. You know, Ozzie Smith, high demand for Cardinals, and even though not a rookie at all. So cards can have merit without being a rookie card. And I think your stance is similar to mine, that don't call it a rookie card. It's a type of, maybe it's a type of rookie card or a disputed rookie card or a questionable, but it's not a classic rookie card.
Yeah.
And that's where I draw the line. So on eBay, they can call it a rookie card, quote unquote, but that's unpoliced. That's unpoliced. That's
right.
That's I think it's, again, your point is it's confusing the people who come into the hobby.
Yeah.
Because they think, well, wait, they told me this was a rookie card. Well,
right.
So anyway, I had some things to ask you, and I've got some. So that was the first thing. Just, does that resolve that thing about the?
It does. My thing was on the first issue of Beckett baseball. I don't mind it's hung up, but was the XRC already in there in the first issue?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I mean, those weren't XRCs. You know, I had RC question mark, and I think I had XRC didn't come along till whatever I told you. It was like late '84 or early '85 or something like that, because Strawberry had been a big problem, and then
right.
Gooden and Clemens and things like that. So in '84 it got really bad because those were great cards. And they're kind of recognized as rookies, but what does that make 85 Topps Clemens?
Right. And that has been.
It is his first Topps card.
Yeah.
So I definitely cop out. I tried to, do the Solomon cut the baby, but to be explanatory, to give alphabet soup that people could say, okay, I get that. It's not a rookie, but it's his first Topps card. It's
right.
It was issued later in the year, so it's not even the first Topps card. It could still be a great card.
But now I guess in the circles that I'm in, the sentiment is that the XRCs are more preferred because they're the true rookie card and not the following years. And I'm like, I'm not in favor of that.
I'm not either. And that's why I didn't call it an RC.
Yeah.
So I'm on the record as saying it's to me, the Darryl Strawberry and the Gooden and the Clemens, the extended traded sets are not full rookie cards because they weren't pack pulled, and that was important back in the day. It's less important now, but it's still it's hard to. One of my themes for you is, which I think I really hats off to you, is you don't want people to change the rules after the fact.
Right.
It's not fair.
Right.
It's not fair.
Right.
And I really had a serious concern for that, because I'm a hobby purist. been around for a long time, and I want to have a legacy that people can understand and not think, oh, that's the way they used to do it, but they had a vote or something. It's not a vote. I mean, historically, that was it's still a great card. It shouldn't diminish it.
Right.
And it's a type of rookie card, but not a full rookie card in the
Right.
sense. Because otherwise, that means the other 85, Goodens and Clemens and those guys are chopped liver. They're nothing, and that's not the way the hobby's treated it. And same thing when you get to 87 with Bo Jackson. Canseco's a bit of a different problem because he had 86 Donruss, but Bonds for sure.
Yeah.
So you know how many people collect the flagship tops of Bonds for sure. And to say, well, that's not a rookie card at all, when in reality, I think it's. So I don't want to change what was carefully considered, and I want to make sure that you and I are talking, that we're on the same page as much as possible. I think we might disagree about a few things, but mostly we want what's best for the hobby. And
for sure.
Because of people, and most of the people, Victor, that are in favor of some of these things, they have them. That's the benefit I had back in the day, is I knew who had what kind of collection. I knew what they had. I knew from their dealer tables, from being around them for 10 years or something, I knew what they had. And so if they're saying, oh, this really is good, I knew they had a case of them or something.
Right.
I take it with a grain of salt. I didn't completely discount it, but I wanted to get unbiased input. And the consensus was that there was a real frustration about the fact that the distribution of the extended sets was so controlled. The average guy couldn't get it unless he went through a dealer, and just like some of the things out, they were held hostage. Even though those sets came out at $4 or $5 a piece, the individual cards were $4 or $5 a piece, instantly. And so they just thought, this is not fair. It's not available. I can't go down to my 7-Eleven or even my hobby shop. I can't buy a pack and maybe get it, maybe not. So it just was, again, a sense of fair play. So what we do agree on, I think, is that to be a full rookie card, it's got to be, the producer of the card needs to be, a nationally recognized major card company that is fully licensed to the extent that's possible. And so players, and not just player, but players, not a single person set, but a group set. And if that's the case, and the other thing that's problematic is it ought to be evidenced on the card. So when you look at the card, you ought to say, oh, I can see this is licensed, and it's from the year that he became, that he was a rookie. So to know that, you probably need to know baseball or know the cards. The second thing was the kind of the method of issue, and pack pulled, to me, it doesn't get any better than that. That's the gold standard for a rookie card. If it's pack pulled, that's kind of unassailable. Okay, and so I don't think anybody's disputing that. They just want to broaden it. I also think there's an argument to be made that redemption cards are not necessarily rookies. I think I'm going to lose that argument because they were kind of in the pack, but they weren't physically in the pack. A representation was in the pack. And so I'm not going to fight tooth and nail about that. It shouldn't be a regional issue. If it was regionally issued, which then gets into, again, I don't know if you treat this in your paper, in your book, in your monograph, but that makes OPG. OPG was kind of sort of is national Canadian, and there are probably some in the northern states, but mostly that's a regional issue. And so hockey, I get that, but for baseball, there's an 87 OPG Bonds. It's kind of like a rookie card. To me, it's not as good. I'm coming at it with thinking that there's such a thing, quote unquote, as a 5-star rookie card. Undisputed, just everybody agrees. And then you take away stars when there's some controversy or some exception to the rule. And when you do
That's
it,
an interesting idea.
the 5-star, really, Victor, the 5-star, which is one of your things, the 5-star really are a lot of the base flagship cards. They're unassailable. They're just made so many of them that people say, well, that's not, it's too easy or something. But in reality, the fact that it was easy made it an accessible rookie card to anybody. And that was the democracy of it back in the day. The other thing that I was going to say, so it can't be a regional issue, like a hot dog card or food card or something like that, even if it was done in the rookie year.
Right.
I think
right.
we're agreeing on that. And I don't think it ought to be print on demand. Because I make a distinction, one of my other points later is that I make a distinction on when the card was issued. If it's issued after the guy is famous, that's different than if it was issued before he was famous. It's the beginning of the season. We got a whole bunch of rookies. We don't know which ones are going to go. Some will make it, some won't. Some might be excluded, but let's see what happens. Like Tom Brady, he was, that wasn't contrived. He had done nothing. He didn't even really deserve a card. Kurt Warner had no cards other than Mike Kramer kind of giving him a shot. So I think the print on demand or late season stuff that you're taking advantage of the player's already popularity, it's kind of like the difference that you're buying Babe Ruth cards for when he was playing as opposed to retrospective cards. A lot of people want to collect the cards of when. So when it was issued, and the method of issue is important, and earlier is better. And so along those lines, if a guy, and this happens in Ultra, in the 90s when they had 2 series, there are rookies that have a rookie card in the first series and then one in the second series. They're both considered rookies, but the series 1 came out first, and there was overlapping checklist. And so, and I think in many cases, the first series had college unis and the second series had pro unis, and they were 2 or 3 months difference in their release. So I agree that's problematic, and you can't always expect. The other concept I have is kind of like knowability, of recognizability, because not everybody's going to have your knowledge or my knowledge, your book or my book. They're going to just look at the card. And if it's not evident or available to know by looking at the card, hey, this is a rookie card because I can see what year it is, and I can see that it's tops, and it's not an inaction card or a World Series card or an All-Star card. It's not an insert, which I think, again, maybe inserts are considered rookies to some degree, but to me, that's a rookie. I love the RY designation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Which will never happen unless it comes through the accountability and the guidance of the Players Association to convince the card manufacturers that that's the best way to go.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough sell. I don't see it happening.
Well, they did something like that in 2005, but it was the other direction. It was to make it easier for things to be a rookie card. You're asking them now to tighten up, to make it more difficult for something, and adding another designation. In the long run, for the increased understanding of what we hope is an expanding hobby, they ought to do it. I'm not thinking they're going to do it. I hope they would, because you're right. That would be a step in the right direction to demystifying, because you can't expect everybody to buy your book or my book to find out whether something's a rookie card. We want people to voluntarily comply, and the leagues and the Players Association could strongly encourage that. And now that eBay is linked up more closely with ComC, I think ComC's doing it right.
Yep.
ComC's doing it right. Let's see.
Yep.
Okay, so I said that. There are exceptions, Victor, and I can't think of one right now, but where the only rookie card of the player also appears to be an all-star card. And so if it's his only card and it's an all-star designation, then it would still be his rookie card. I'm thinking mainly baseball.
Yeah.
But
Willie McCovey,
how that could be because how could he be an all-star if he's a rookie unless they, missed him the year before? So it's almost a post-rookie card. He was a rookie the year before. They didn't get him in. Then they got him in the next year, and he's got a rookie trophy card. I mean, nowadays with the extended and the third series and all that, they'll pick up on that. But I think there are some examples of that. I think the leagues were cracking down and still are that you can't have a card unless you've appeared in a game.
Correct.
I know hockey has been big on that. Football, basketball, I don't think they've got cards before. They've got Panini.
They typically, those guys go straight into the roster
Yeah.
once they get drafted. Yeah.
But I don't think they're a member of the Players Association until they played a game.
Correct.
Okay.
I believe that's how it goes.
At any rate,
That's
the problem is that if they haven't appeared in a game, like I said, it's almost like a pre-rookie card. They're not in their uniform, or they're holding up a uniform, or they've got a PR uniform draped on them or something like that.
And there's no license stamp on the back. It's missing it.
Because they're not a member of the PA.
Right.
So again, I don't think we're going to win on that because it's just too confusing for somebody to see, hey, it was issued by a major manufacturer. It was in a pack. It's numbered, not lettered. I also think that if something is lettered rather than numbered, that's not as good. It really needs to be a number, not no number and not alphabetically numbered. It ought to be just a simple ordinal number.
I thought about that, but the high-end product, sometimes they use letters instead of numbers.
Well, I think we're going to lose that argument. But again, if something is so recognized, the thing is, we're now in the day of not junk rookies, but that's what you're concerned about and I'm concerned about, the proliferation of rookies without discrimination to which ones are more 5-star. And what you found is that the cheaper ones, which are the base set ones, are getting left behind as if they're no good when they're actually the most authentic rookie cards and democratically available to anybody for the price, potentially for the price of a pack. So, okay, here's a controversial one. I'm doing too much talking. Let me get you in this. I think rookie cards should adopt an NIL rule. And that is, it's not a rookie card unless the name, the image, the likeness is on the card. It can't be a rookie card if there's not a likeness of the card. I mean, there are that would exclude, redemption cards. They might have the name, but they don't have a picture. They don't have any image or likeness. Or it's draft pick number 17. You'll get it when it's done, something like that. So to me, those aren't rookie cards if they don't have an N and an I and an L on the card. And that, I think that would sell, because it's, if I put it on my wall, there's no picture. There's no picture. What is that? Oh, that's Kobe Bryant's card for when he was, before he was drafted. And it's got some bouncing balls on it that are colorful. And his draft number.
Yeah.
So I've collected some of those things. Dirk Nowitzki, same thing. I've got, his pre-rookie card in the sense of it's his redemption of whatever the company that did that.
Right.
So anyway, when you're looking at the card, you ought to be able to tell. And the problem, the leagues, like you said, if the leagues would tighten up, people just look and see, is there an RC on the card?
That's all they're doing.
The card, they just say, I'm just going to go with that. And we're probably going to lose that battle going forward. Now, anything before 05 or 06, somewhere in there, you don't know. And that's why when I'm going through the dollar box, I'll find rookie cards in there that are pre 06 or 05.
Yeah.
The dealers don't know. They might see it's an early card. They just think, well, okay, it doesn't say rookie on it. So that's to their detriment. And like I said, I think knowledge should be rewarded, Victor, but you shouldn't expect people to have a PhD or some other advanced knowledge.
I hear you. But that's the, I guess the purpose behind what I'm doing is to educate.
Well, my advice to you is to make it as succinct as you can, and most books that are sold in bookstores for men are purchased by women because men don't like thick books. I mean, that's what they told me. I said, well, we're gonna sell our price guides at hobby shops. Now, there's a lot of dudes in there, and it was useful to them. But for you, the shorter it is, the more somebody could pick it up and say, hey, this is going to help me understand this, because you're not. And like I said, I thought the more you can be in favor of this is what it is instead of criticizing what it isn't. The better rookie cards are the ones that meet these criteria. And if it's not that, it's not 5-star, or it's somewhat disputed or controversial. And the hands of fate, can change sometimes. It could change. But historically, we knew what a rookie card was. What about, does it have to have English on the back as opposed to a foreign language?
My view on that is, when it comes to foreign product, anything that a North American card manufacturer made for the purposes of sending overseas, I consider those eligible rookie cards. But a foreign card manufacturer, I have a hard time accepting those as a true North American rookie card, like Shohei's. I don't really view Shohei's 2013s as true rookie cards. They're a Japanese rookie card, for sure, 100%. But those are cards made by a non-North American card manufacturer. And the hobby, or at least for me anyways, there's not a lot of intertwining of the markets. It's like that's their market over there and we have our market. And they don't really intertwine.
It may intertwine more, but I agree with you. But does that suggest, and this especially applies to soccer, that rookie cards or designations are league specific? I mean, not American and national, but a major league as opposed to minor league, as opposed to Japan, Nippon, baseball league, and UEFA, and all these different. Because in soccer, it's a big mess. I mean, they could have a first card in all the different, and they're different companies and different, but they're fully licensed.
Right.
And so it's a rookie card of sorts. It's the first card in that series, but it's, the moral high ground is lost because of, when Ichiro becomes the rookie of the year at the age of 30, he's had a long career in Japan, and so you can't go by the age. And so I actually collect earliest cards. I don't call them rookie cards, but I make a distinction of the first minor league card. I don't call it a rookie card. It's to me, it's the best or the earliest pre-rookie card. It's legitimately issued, usually not pack pulled in most cases, but it's an early card of somebody that was, in most cases in those days, was unknown. They weren't, and they weren't nearly touted as much as the Baseball America touting of the next wave of going to be the greatest. In the old days, it was more modest in the touting of these young players, that reaching stratospheric pricing before they've really done anything in the big leagues. So, another question for you. My thesis is a rookie card can be smaller than 2 5/8 by 3 3/4, but it can't be bigger. And it has to be rectangular. It has to have 4 corners. What do you think?
To me, so long as, like, let's take 1975 minis. I look at those as true rookie cards. I really do. I mean, they are, just because of the size, I think is not. It's not that big.
I'm giving smaller cards a pass, but I'm drawing the line at bigger cards. If they weren't minis, if they were double size, which Pacific has done some things like that. I mean, to me, if it's a postcard size, that's why the Lou Gehrig is a little bit problematic. It's one of the very, very few kind of recognized now accepted rookie cards that's exhibit and is postcard size. Other than that, there are very few other things where the card isn't standard size or smaller.
Yeah, I throw my hands up in the air with pre-war. I just exhibits.
Mostly to pre-war too. I mean, like I said, that's a exception.
Yeah.
That allows all the T206s and T205s and the caramel cards and all that. They could be rookies because they're smaller, but and like I said, exhibits used to be the example. Exhibits got no esteem back in the old days, and they were interesting to collect, but they were not. Nobody thought, well, those are really they weren't very expensive, and
I don't think they do today, with the exception of a few YouTubers making a big push for them. But
like a Gretzky rookie, with the sportscaster card. Have you seen that? The 5x7.
Yeah.
It's rounded corners, maybe it's 6x8 or 5x8 or something, but that's been speculated on.
Yeah.
And there's one of maybe it's Magic and Bird maybe have a card there that's because that's like 78 or 79.
But I know, like, even today you have
bigger is not good.
You have box toppers in today's modern day product that comes in a pack, comes on top of the packs, right? And it could be a parallel of his base set rookie. And everything, it's licensed. It meets all the requirements except for the size. It's bigger. To me, I'm okay with that being a rookie card.
No, I'm saying it's not 5-star. It's 4-star,
okay.
3-star. That it's if you were going to have something in your collection, even though it's more difficult to find, it's more way less distribution because it's only a box topper, and it's a cool collectible. But it's the whole idea of the rookie card is it ought to be available to the average guy. That it shouldn't be you had to buy a box. You could get it in a pack. You couldn't get that. You couldn't get the box topper in a pack. And so again, I kind of have a fairness quotient that I tried to apply back in the day, and it's just the other thing that I was, I'm wondering because I didn't do this, but I'm wondering for you, and that is that if you had an expert version of your book and then a more novice version of your book, where the novice version of your book could be more like an extended article that you could get published in the PSA magazine and in Beckett and SCD. It's kind of like how I got started. Just get the word out, but it's a shorter version that's publishable, that has the high points, that helps the more novice collector to say, hey, if you don't do anything else, just read this 3 pages and you'll get a pretty good idea of what's going on. And then go to Victor's website for more info, or you get the whole book. But here are the principles that he's trying to establish, and they are reasonable. So
that's a good idea, like an ebook. Yeah,
like an ebook. Yeah, that's really, and you maybe could get sponsors for that because it's really for the good of the hobby. There are cards. How are you handling cards that are very well accepted as rookie cards, even though they're not? That it's erroneous, but it's like grandfathered in.
For example,
well, let me give you a new theory because I haven't heard somebody say this exactly. But what if somebody? I mean, nowadays, Panini has all basketball and all football for a little bit longer, but they have for a while. And Topps has had all baseball, and Fanatics now, they're going to be the sole licensee. And so if you go back into history, there were people that only collected a single company. Nowadays, that's going to be the norm because there's only going to be one company producing cards, and they'll have sub-brands. But if you thought, you know what? And in my neighborhood, I rarely saw any Bowmans. There were Tops, and this is in the mid '50s, and Bowman was kind of gone after a while. But if I say I'm only going to collect Tops cards, then how is not a 52 Tops Mickey Mantle not his rookie? Because I have no consideration for Bowman or anything else. I only collect Tops cards. They're the flagship. They're the primary predominant company that makes cards. And that is his first card of Tops. It makes it a Tops rookie card. And I put an FTC on it for a long time, first Tops card. But they're basically saying that Bowman doesn't count in a way.
Why?
And because we only collect Tops. The average guy in the old days, most people collected everything, but there are a lot of people that only collect Tops. There's still people now that only get the flagship, and they'll get a complete factory set, and put it away, and I'm done. I've got all the rookies. I've got all the players in that set, and so to that person. Because I want to criticize people and say, hey, 52 Tops, it's really not his rookie. He had a Bowman.
Yeah.
But if Bowman didn't come out in his neighborhood, and they didn't have those packs, 52 Tops was the first appearance in many neighborhoods of Mickey Mantle.
And the Bowmans were distributed
differently,
the same way, weren't they?
They were, but they weren't everywhere. I mean, there were a lot of candy stores and things that took one but not the other. They didn't necessarily have side by side. That's all I'm saying. I've never thought of that argument that if you lived in a Tops neighborhood, it's kind of like Fleer in '63. They did a major league set. They had trouble getting distribution, Victor, even though they were, Fleer was a known bubblegum company. But they said, I've already got the Tops. And so, Maury Wills or it just wasn't. It just points out that it's kind of complicated, and Ty goes to Tops, and so I'm getting a little more sympathetic to the allure of a 52 Tops high number, admittedly, with a great story by Cy Berger about the Hudson River and all that. But it's actually more plentiful than the 51 Bowman, in my opinion. The demand is much higher for the Tops, but the Bowman is also a high number. It's potentially even more condition sensitive at being off-cut and printer lines and things like that. But like I said, if it's not available in your neighborhood, when you're growing up, you're thinking, no, the 52 Tops is that's the icon of the boyhood. For most people, it's not, I remember the 51 Bowman Mantle with the horizontal pose or something. Nobody says that.
I hear you. Yeah.
So I don't want to be the grumpy old guy that says, hey, you're all wrong. It's not the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. In my book, I take those types of cards and I use the Mantle. I also used the Michael Jordan with the 84 star and the 86 Fleer. I've deemed those as asterisk RC for both of them, designating to me anyways that it's a rookie card that's debatable within the hobby. There's some debate with these two cards that you need to be aware of.
But I did that in '84. If you look back at the magazine in early '85, I hedged for a few months and gathered information and got feedback because I didn't make the determination. I said, these are both, and I editorialized about it. But then when not votes, but when I heard the consensus, it was that the base cards, pack pulled, were the for sure rookie card in the classic historical sense. And the box set cards were also rookie cards of a sort. And so.
Yeah, I have been talking about this Michael Jordan card for so long, and both sides make good, arguments. Neither one of them fully comply, to be honest with you. and in that aspect, but it's still, to me anyways, the 86 Fleer is the king.
You're
But
saying that the tie goes to the pack bold. Tie goes to the more
right, right,
recognized company. Star Company
yeah,
was. I mean, I tracked that very closely. It was really thinly distributed. There were 3 or 4 major distributors around the country that had huge stashes of these things, and you could
right.
get as many as you wanted if you paid the price and knew the right person. And so that, again, it's sort of undemocratic. And
That
there
the
were rumors of reprintings and things like that from the very beginning.
the
Because
high end boys,
the,
the high end boys, they'll fight me tooth and nail.
I know, but they have them, Victor, and I don't
Yeah,
begrudge them that. They're hoping. I mean, they maybe have had them for a long time, and they're
yeah,
cards, and the supply and demand is what it is. In fact, they're yeah, they're harder. They're less of the Star Company. They're more condition sensitive. Uh, they're harder to find, but they weren't pack pulled and they weren't issued by a major card company, even though they're fully licensed. You could, all you had to do is say, I'll take the Bulls. I'll take the Bulls team set. And it was $5 or something.
yeah,
And you keep it in the bag. And, sometimes Jordan was on top. Sometimes, whatever each bag had a different configuration, but you could you knew what you were getting.
right,
I'd have
right.
been smart. I'd have bought them all, but I'm not,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not greedy, I guess, but I am smart, but maybe not greedy enough.
yeah.
But I got one of everything. Okay. And so I have that, and it's a great card.
Sure.
Like I say, the dealers that had them, Victor, had hundreds. I don't think they had thousands, but they had hundreds.
Yeah.
But they had hundreds of all the team sets. And the Bulls probably weren't great in '84. It took them a few years
Oh yeah.
to really take off, but right at the beginning there, they were just another team.
Man, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. It is always uh, a pleasure and it beneficial to speak with Dr. James Beckett about rookie cards. But here's the thing: the reason why is I wanted to talk to him about the XRC because I am writing a book, and in one of my chapters, I do want to touch on the XRC topic. Only problem that I'm having is the research that I'm finding, and there isn't much out there. But the XRC research that I'm doing seems incomplete. It kind of contradicts itself when I go to create a timeline of how things evolved, and it wasn't making sense to me. And I like to respect Jim's privacy, but at the same time, I kind of had to share with him some conflicting things that I was finding on the internet about the XRC that to me were not adding up. It was not making sense. And I asked him to speak to me about this topic and how it all started and how it all evolved. So that was the primary purpose for this interview, was to get clarification for the book. And so and then we just went off on a tangent, as you can tell here, that we just kept on going. But I hope you enjoyed it. This is, again, part 1 of 2. And stay tuned for the next episode. Leave me a comment down below on your take on some of the things that were said. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, buenos nachos, muchachos.